early 1977, there was a movie that came out that was called Come Back Charleston Blue. My dad name is Charles. Mom named me Charleston. So when I come home from the hospital, Unc's lifestyle, he's the only boy amongst three girls, and he's the oldest. And so, that was his favorite movie. He gave me that name, Blue, Charleston Blue, and so it kind of stuck with me throughout life. Uh, I grew up under, my first 5, 6, 7 years of life, man. There's a lot of exposure to Uncle Wayne. My mother was a teenage mother. She had my brother at 15, had me at 17. My dad was a square guy, right? He was a square nigga. He went to the Navy. Then he got a job working within government. My mother was a teenage mother with a lot of ambition. Uh, and so she landed a job at General Motors in the early 80s, 81, 82.
Oh, the good
And
years.
so, yeah. And so our lives kind of went from rags to riches, seemingly like overnight for me because I was so young. Uh, but Uncle Wayne was a very pivotal male figure
Crash Out
growing up
Club.
because he was mom's only brother. My granddad owned a barber shop over on the south side of Fort Worth, in a very uh, over off Allen and Hattie and Betsy. And if anybody from Fort Worth, they know what I'm talking about. And so the name of the barber shop was called Chopping Block, and everybody hustled outside and around that barber shop. And so I was always able to go and sit around other men and see the early hustlers from the late 70s, the early 80s. I got to see the guys who pushed the crack out into the streets. I got to see my granddad also. He worked at the bus barn, which the bus barn, that's the buses for the schools. So he had all the women at the bus barn. He had some selling pussy, he had some boosting clothes. So both my granddad and both my uncle, man, was real good with ladies. My mother is a very a strong black woman who's highly respected in the streets as well. My grandfather is one of the founders and one of the originals of this big. Back then, it was like a social club. It's called the Dappers, and it was a bunch of dapper gentlemen who dressed real well. And so I come from dapper men. I come from men who pimped. The significance about my uncle was he was what they would call a gorilla pimp. He was very abusive.
Yeah.
He beat women, and so I grew up believing that some of his prostitutes were my aunts. You know how they say that's your auntie, that's your Aunt Sharon. They didn't say that's his hoe, they say that's your auntie. So I grew up seeing them as aunts, right? So when I wake up at night, mom got a room for her big brother. He coming through with trash bags full of money, and so I got to see things that most children shouldn't see early on. Waking up in the middle of the night, man, hearing my uncle jump on who I thought at the time was my Aunt Sharon, and having to go to school 2, 3 hours later, seeing her with the black eye. You learn to either become that kind of person or you learn to defy being that kind of person, man. And so growing up around women, I never wanted to be the one to inflict the pain. So I never vowed to be the one to slap around, and my uncle was vicious, man. He'll beat her in a minute. But it also left a certain a factor of intimidation that I had toward my uncle, where I couldn't, that's a side that prevents you from bonding, man, with your dad or with your uncle or whomever you see abusing people. And so I saw that growing up, man, and I had an older brother. He nor I never been spanked by a man. We never been disciplined by a man. We always got to see the negative elements. The drunk man, the hustler man, the wife beater, the woman beater, the cheat man. So we never saw the doctors. We never saw the lawyers. We never saw the faithful husbands. I never seen a man get up and go to work. All I ever seen was mom get up and go to work. So growing up, in my young and impressionable mind, I didn't know men work because I never seen a man get up and go to work.
Damn.
Yeah, that's deep, homie. That's deep. You know, I had my mother. She was very loving, very nurturing. She was a woman.
You sound real humble, LW.
Right, so she didn't lie. She taught us to do right because right is the right thing to do. She never condoned our wrongdoings. So she tried to teach us right, but because man, the negative elements that you see from your culture, your mom's brothers, your mom's cousins, spending the night over your homeboys' houses. So all the negative elements that you get exposed to, and you don't have anything to correct it. You don't have anything to rebut it.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to compare to, right? So you embrace it. When you cut on the television propagates what we see in our homes, right? If we watch a good movie, if we watch a good show on TV, man, we don't see a nigga that kick a bitch ass, right?
Mm-hmm.
We know an uncle that kick a woman. We got homeboys who up on women, but we don't say anything. It's propagated in television through imagery, through sight, and then it's solidified through the music. So as a kid, man, you see Uncle Joe, he whoop women. Uncle Wayne, he whoop women. Mom's cousin Jeffrey Naki, they whoop women. You never see a man that's faithful to a woman. You see what I'm saying? So
all the negative shit.
Yeah, I get all the negative shit. And so, and mom is trying to teach us this. Boy, where you get this from? Oh, this girl bought it for me. Boy, give it back to her. So, mom is saying things like, if you go to a woman's house, this is what mom's trying to teach a nigga. If you go to a woman's house and you open her icebox, you've used electricity. If you grab her remote and start flicking the television, punching on buttons with the remote, you using electricity. If you go in there and pee in her bathroom and flush her toilet, you done use some water. So you less than a man, son. If you go over there and you sleeping with that woman, you can't help that woman in those areas. So that's what mom is saying, right? Trying to teach us not to be the type of niggas, for one, to be sour and lazy and to be dependent upon women. On the flip end, you hearing all the bullshit from the men, from the players, the gigolos, the max, and it's counterproductive to what mom is teaching. Yeah. And so as a boy, I'm saying, yeah, mom, I hear what you're saying, but I need to identify with a man. I need a man to reiterate what mom is saying. So what mom is saying falls on deaf ears because I got the man that I see, and then I got the music that I hear, and I got the movies that I watch to make mom say, no, I don't want what mama talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this life is a little more interesting over here.
Yeah.
I want to take a quick minute to ask you to hit that like button if you have not already. Yes, that means you listening right now. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the content so far. It really helps out the channel. And if you want similar content like this, please hit that subscribe button and join Dusty Vision TV.
Shout out to him.
Now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Every man, as far as in my immediate family, has gone to prison.
Damn. Yep.
So with that aspect, you start noticing these things when you become, say, pre-adolescent, right? Mm-hmm. 11, 12, 13, 14. You can start to decipher and kind of make more of an understanding of what grown folks are saying. Mm-hmm. You start realizing that Aunt B went to jail for stealing. You start realizing who mama, you know what I'm saying? So you can start rationalization because of brain development at that stage. So pre-adolescence is normally when the teens start getting a smart mouth, peer pressure and what your friends think starts to become a greater role than what your parents say to do. So you start kind of what they say, smelling your piss, right?
Yeah.
So by the time I get to adolescence, just about every man in the family done gone to prison. You got the crack era, right? So as they coming back from prison, nobody saying nothing bad about prison.
It's almost a badge of honor.
Say, it ain't no almost.
Yeah, it is, and they can celebrate it more. They can celebrate it more when they get home too. You know.
Say that I'm about to take you to that. So as a kid, we see that. I noticed how the family treated Uncle Wayne. Uncle Wayne pull up in that Rolls Royce. He gonna have them suits on. He got them pretty high yellow women, man, everybody, and he got the briefcase with the money in it, with the gold chain. I'm seeing how when he come around, how the other family members and everybody in the community responds to him, compared to how they respond to Uncle Curtis, who's struggling to keep the blue collar job.
Yeah.
As kids, we see how they treat the dope dealing uncles compared to the uncle that ain't be kicking the ass. So you start taking note of what kind of man you want to be early on as a boy. So if you don't never get to see no man, what characteristics and what traits do you begin to take on as a boy? The shit you see on television.
Yeah.
So as a kid, so I'm 12, I'm noticing the difference between high school graduation parties, and welcome home prison parties.
Big difference, yo.
I'm starting to notice this at the pre-adolescent stage, right?
Prison parties are popping when they get out.
Oh man, the whole community, the whole neighborhood come out for the welcome home party, but for the graduation party, it ain't that popping.
Nope.
So and notice what I keep saying. I keep saying in my young, impressionable, because young minds are very impressionable. It's easy to impress a young kid's mind. It's easy to persuade. It's easy to mold it. So all I'm seeing is, man, when the guys come home from prison, man, it's like a wow. So when I'm at recess in 6th grade, and all the other kids, they running, playing soccer, they playing grab ass with the girls, nigga, I'm over there playing thug. I'm talking about what kind of party I'm gonna have when I come home from prison, like so and so. So so as I'm seeing that, certain movies is starting to come out. So we're getting away from movies like House Party,
Colors, Boys in the Hood,
yeah,
man, it's
we got
society.
Colors, boys. So these type of movies now are starting to come out, and it's being introduced to us in culture. So when you say a badge of honor, it became a badge of honor, homie. And even right now today, as a 43-year-old man, I sometimes feel like I missed out on something by not going to prison. I feel like a nigga got the ups on me, because he can always see his shit. Nigga, you ain't made it on such and such, y'all. Nigga, you couldn't have made it on. He got that on me. So it makes me feel
less macho.
Yeah. So what I had to do, I had to go root my identities, homie, and something else that didn't revolve. It didn't have to do with a detriment, right? And that's fatherhood. Yeah. Most black men's identity is rooted in the bravado stripes of having to commit crime, selling dope, or being in the streets. So I got that from childhood. So it wasn't nothing for me. It wasn't nothing for me when I got arrested not to go. I didn't care about going to juvenile, because I'm getting my badge of honor. I'm getting my stripe.
Yeah, it's like freshman year in college or something. I want to take a quick minute to ask you to hit that like button if you have not already. Yes, that means you listening right now. Hit that like button if you're enjoying the content so far. It really helps out the channel. And if you want similar content like this, please.
Crash Out Club, yeah, to subscribe to Crash Out Club
TV. Now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Popcorner's white cheddar flavor. Cherry-like popcorn,